Okay, so in a prior video, we had our HP 260 G1, and one of the things about it that sort of distressed me was that when I was first researching it or wanting to buy one, it mentioned, hey, that it had an M.2 slot. And I was excited. Oh, okay, that's kind of neat. This is kind of different. This is the quirky cousin unit. Well, I got it and I cracked it open, and only to discover that, oh, the little note about the fact that you had to have a Celeron processor unit, that was the only one that came with the M.2. And I just, at the time again, I thought, oh, well, what does that really mean? Well, it meant what it meant. It did not come. So I started doing some research and trying to figure out a way that I could utilize the what's it? It's a half height mini PCIe slot that the current Wi-Fi card is sitting in. If there's a way that I could take it and do kind of the same trick that I did with some like the the normal Elite Desk 800s, where you can turn that Wi-Fi slot into a place where you could put in, let's say, a 2230 or 2280, etc. As far as a NVMe. So did some research and found this guy on Amazon for a ridiculously low price. Comes from China, and the shipping was actually pretty quick. And I wanted to show how to install it in here, get configured, and see what we can do with it. This one is designed in such a way that you just sort of break off the part you don't need. In our particular case, we're going to be breaking off both of these legs and most of this, because we're going to put it in a put a 2230 in here. I could have gone with the 2242, etc. But I really like the 2230s and already have them. So let's open this up and get it set up and boot up and see what we've got as far as performance. If it's going to work for us. Okay. When I got my 260, it didn't have the two screws that are normal here. Normally there's two screws, and there's also these like a rubber stopper on here. So I thought, okay, I'll just throw in some just to kind of simulate. So if you had one of these, you would take out the rubber stopper and take out the screws from the back here in order to be able to crack open the case. No other unit uses that sort of thing. It must have been like a lot of stuff where HP gets these ideas. So, okay. So we'll turn it over. It's got the screw on the back. Let's see. Is that going to open with that? No, I need a torque for that. And even having this is a little, inconvenient, but especially because it's easy to lose it. Okay, got that open. And this is what we're going for. We want to, let's bring it up here a little bit. We need to take out these screws, obviously, take out the antennas. In order to get to it, though, we want to take out this tray that normally the SATA drive, just to give us a little more space. You could kind of do it. I mean, it's sort of underneath this little push tab here or whatever. But let's move this, make it a little easier. And if you haven't already, you can check out my other video, which goes into more in depth on these 260s. As I like to call it, the quirky cousin, because it does have some interesting things, like of course the famous dim door that covers the memory. Okay. One of these sides. There we go. Okay, you just kind of lift up a little bit, and then that way you can kind of move it to the side just to kind of get it out of the way. Okay, so as we mentioned earlier, this right here, if I had, I guess, a Celeron version of this, there would actually be a slot here that I could put a M.2, I believe a 2242 in there. Okay, so now what we want to do is take this out. So let's see. We need a Phillips head. I'm thinking maybe I'm going to take the antenna off first. And these pretty much just kind of use your nail and get underneath. Boom. There you go. Now we can take these out. Now, I looked around trying to find a well, I guess it wouldn't be called M.2, but you know, it's in essence an SSD that would fit into a half height mini PCI slot. I saw different things. I thought I found something that maybe would work, but it was only like 24 gig, which is pretty tiny, you know, for most things. I wanted to have the flexibility that I had similar to when I'm doing it on the Elite Desk 800s, where I could put in just about anything. Now, you are going to be limited as far as space here. What, you know, the size of what you could put in there. You know, you're not going to be able to put obviously a 2280. I am even a 2242 might be a little. Let's see, what is it? You're like this. The 2242 would be pretty tight. You might be able to just do it, but I felt pretty confident on the 2230. That's what I decided to go with since I already have those. I've got lots that I can play with. So, okay, so then we've got this guy, and you'll notice it even says on it, Mini PCIe to NVMe. Now, I looked everywhere for this kind of thing because I would find this, you know, as far as the connector, looked very similar. But it seemed like they mainly were targeting people that wanted to put in a different kind of Wi-Fi card. So you'd have your mini PCI here, but then what would be on here would be an A&E slot. It's like, well, I don't want that because you know, yeah, there's A&E slot to NVMe, but that just gives me a lot of different connectors. So, but I stumbled upon this one, and it specifically talked about that it could be used for putting in a Wi-Fi and skip putting in an NVMe. So, pops in right here. You're then going to put your NVMe into this slot, and then you're going to secure it. You're actually going to take this out and use it to secure in. So let's first kind of break this down so everything's going to fit. So hopefully this is just this part to make it into a half height should be just snapping there. Ooh. That's not good. Okay, well, let's see. No, I pretty much have to do it. Okay. So maybe I was hoping it would be a little better sort of scored because I've used things like this before and it just, okay, that one worked better. Oh well, at least one of the holes. I went ahead and actually ordered a second one of these because the price was still pretty cheap, just to have on hand in case I used it other places. But I guess word of the wise, just be a little careful with the when you snap it off. Now, let's see. Let's grab a 2230. Now, supposedly this 2230 is a bootable Windows 11. So we'll see later. I'm going to first try it with as a secondary drive, and then we'll see this older one. I don't know if this is going to take any kind of mod, if it would use like the mod that we use on a Elite Desk 800G one. So anyway, we're going to put it in here. So we see that it's going to fit here, which means we can break it and score it there. So let's just, for curiosity, let's score it like we were trying to put in a 2242. So if I break, okay. Well, so much for that. Okay, you take this little guy out because it's going to be the thing that you're going to secure the thing to. So let's see, curiosity, if we had wanted to do a 2242. Nope. It would still be too big. So I wonder if there's a better way. Scissors? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to try something. All right, I got myself some of these. I don't know if they go by different names, utility scissors, super scissors, but I've always found them to be for that kind of hardcore type of stuff that you need to cut. You just grab these. So let's see if I can cut it. Probably not the best right over here. Let's see. Let's move this to the side a little bit. Okay. That's a little cleaner. Okay. So let's lay it in there. Ooh, just fits. Just fits. Let's make sure it's not. Ooh, it scrapes a little bit on the side of that little, but I think we'll be okay. 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 I was thinking that this guy somehow, I don't know, went all the way into the hole there, but no. What it is there's a, I don't know if you can tell from here, but there's one side that has a tiny indent that fits through here slightly. That way you can get it onto the screw and it fits nicely into the slot there. And then you can always adjust it. So we've got this now. Okay, here. Put this here. All right, probably loosen it just ever so slightly. And it should fit underneath. Okay, so let's stick this in. Oh, fiddle. Now, is it not going to fit? now that we have the, let's see. Oh. Oh boy. So this is what happens when you're trying to do something sort of, I don't know if I call it live, but so I went to put this in, and right away I noticed, oh, this section here was hitting, excuse me, this part was hitting the pole. So I shaved it down a little bit. Then I went to put it in, and wouldn't you know it, the actual 2230 is now hitting the pole. So I still think this has merit. I'm going to put this out here. I'm going to show that you can actually boot it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tie down and I should say screw down the rest of this. I'm going to pop this up so that way it's not hitting here. We'll go in, run some tests. I'll leave it to you if you want to somehow figure out how to do something with this pole, because really, it's basically the in my opinion the superfluous extra screw down. But as I've done in other videos, I really don't like doing anything permanent to the unit as far as shaving something down, breaking something off. Um, you know, Obviously these are used units. You could do whatever you want with them, but I'm always thinking, well, later on, what if I'm going to do something with it? If I'm going to do it for a demo, and then now I don't have the stuff in place. So let's go ahead. I'm going to unscrew this. You'll see how much it has to pop out, and again, I want to leave it to the folks viewing what they want to do further. So let me get this screwed down here. You're going to obviously take the little screws that were holding in the Wi-Fi card and use that to screw this down. So let's take this out, and actually I'll just remove that right now. Push this down. I had tested, just to make sure that the basics looked like they were going to work, and just assumed that everything would fit, not realizing. I think I trapped in the antenna there. Make sure it's not going to be touching something. Kind of pull it up a little bit. Yeah, so I just assumed once I got everything in here that everything would fit nicely. Not taking into account it just so little bit right here, and unfortunately, there's actually components there, so you don't want to be breaking off pieces of the 2230. Okay, then I can just kind of lay this in here. Wow, you can see how much it's sticking out. I mean, it's practically beyond the top of the case. Boy, and the problem is we still need to be able to boot from a SATA drive. So, okay, let me try some stuff, see if I can get something set up here, and yeah, we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, so I was able to hook up a SATA drive so that at least I could boot. Because when I went to try to see if I could boot from this, from the 2230, it didn't even see it as something that it could boot from. So we're inside of Windows. I was running the disk info. So our C drive is our normal SSD. This is the 2230. You can see that it is showing up. I'm going to run some benchmarks on that one just to kind of give you a sense of the speed. Again, if you decided to go down the route of trying to get this to work. Decent speeds. I think when I was running this against the more traditional just SATA drive, I think the speeds are about half this. I mean, yeah, this isn't the ones you see in the thousands, but at the same time, now you've actually got something a little faster that you can use. I was kind of reviewing how the process works for making a bootable NVMe on an EliteDesk G1. One of the things, though, that I don't know if this even supports is there's some jumpers that have to be set that allow you to go in and modify the BIOS. So I don't know if that's even going to work. I'm a little hesitant to try it just because I don't want to brick anything. But let me see what I can do a little more checking on. Well, I tried to follow some of the same steps that I had used with the EliteDesk 800. And I even found on the motherboard there is an FDO place where you can set a jumper. But just trying to run the basic flashing tools just to get a backup of the BIOS I was getting errors like you're seeing here. So, of course, even if this didn't work, it's hard to know, the size of the memory that needs to be backed up. A lot of stuff. So, don't want to take the risk of messing up the BIOS, bricking it, and so forth. So, it's going to have a very limited use. As far as a secondary drive, I guess if you needed to have two drives, you could put that NVMe as a second one. But in order to do that, you're going to have to make mods and get rid of that pole or that column there that's sticking up and preventing it. So, sometimes you try these mods and you're real successful. Other times you try it and you're like, okay, maybe that isn't the way to go. Maybe I'll try something different. So just wanted to kind of present some ideas and, maybe get some ideas going in terms of uses for that half-height PCIe adapter.